Hey guys, and welcome to this week's episode of The Fad Show. So in this week, I'd like to take some time to introduce you to my gorgeous 2002 Jetta TDI Wagon. Normally I buy some beat down hoopty, but this is the first time I've actually bought a car that has a full service history from 100,000 miles. Currently this car has 230,000 miles on it. I've had it for about 2 months now, and I bought this car to be my daily commuter, although that might change based on another car that I've bought that I haven't done a video on that also fills the role of a commuter, so I'm not really sure. But I think that I'm going to keep using this because, I don't know, I do have a long-standing history with these Mark IV TDIs. This is actually the third one I've had, and I just absolutely love these cars. They're kind of like the girl that, got away in college or something. You just find yourself keep coming back to them every time you part ways. And it's exactly how I feel about this car every time. Every time I sell one of them, there's just something special about them that keeps me coming back. So I think this one I'm going to hold on to, regardless of what happens to it. But I guess we'll see what the future holds, because I don't really have a good track history of keeping any car. But nevertheless, I digress. Let's move on, and I'll introduce you to why I love these Mark IV TDIs. So I apologize if I'm sweating profusely in this video, but it's North Texas in August, which means it's hotter than Satan's furnace out here. But the history of this car, so it's a Mark IV Jetta TDI Wagon. So Mark IV just standard for the fourth generation Golf, which was produced from 1997 to 2004. It's actually quite impressive. The car was produced pretty much, or it was produced all over the world, and then also it was distributed all over the world. And I do a lot of traveling, and pretty much every single place I've been, I've always seen these vehicles, not necessarily the Jetta exactly, but the Golf, because overseas the Jetta is called Bora, and it has different names wherever you go, but you can tell it's the same platform. It's kind of amazing just all the different specs they had of these, of transmissions and engines, and just variants of all the different cars that shared the same platform. And then Pope Benedict, actually, when these cars were new, bought one for himself, and this was an attempt for Volkswagen to try and move upscale compared to the American economy cars of the time, like a Mercury Sable or Ford Taurus or a Dodge Neon. I think they definitely knocked it out of the park. By today's standards, it's nothing fancy, but looking back on cars like that, you can definitely tell how this was kind of a step up above. I mean, it's still kind of hard plastics inside, and I hate the fact that the cup holder, when you press the button or when it's deployed, is blocking the view of your radio, which is kind of an oversight by them. But for the most part, it's definitely has like a little bit more elegant feel in there and a little bit better materials than some of the American or Japanese cars of the time. But it's still definitely pretty cheap for today's standards. So let's go into why I love these cars. And I'll be honest, the Mark IV platform itself is kind of, like I said before, is a little bit dated at this point. But they just have so much character. Like, I don't know what it is about it. I think it's just the fact that cars now have gotten so big, and this is just smaller and simple. And it's like, it's upscale and nice enough that it's just what you need, nothing more. And it just has so much character. Like, I can't really describe it. It's just something when you drive it that just everything about it kind of feels good, and everything's fits in hand like perfectly, and the car's light, and it just moves around exactly how you want it to be. I don't know. I probably am not explaining that well, but it's just a weird feeling that these cars give me, which I think is why I keep coming back. But the main reason I keep coming back to these cars is what's under that hood right there. So let's pop the hood and we'll take a look, and I'll talk about the ALH TDI and then everything that's done to my car, because my car is far from stock. So guys, I'm sorry for the lighting right now. It's kind of midday, so the sun's directly overhead, but this is the ALH TDI, which is probably my favorite engine of all time of any car I've ever had. I don't know why that is. It's just a 1.9 liter diesel that stock from factory had 90 horsepower, which I've owned these cars where they're completely stock and they have so much torque that it doesn't really bother me at all. You don't notice it hardly at all. But these engines are absolutely bulletproof, and there's like a huge cult following in this Mark IV TDI community, or just the TDI community in general. These ALH motors, ALH is the engine code, is the most desirable, and they pretty much have no issues. I mean, they have minor things, but nothing that'll ever leave you stranded, and these motors are known for going to 400 to 500,000 miles with pretty much doing nothing but basic maintenance. They do have valve seals that leak a little bit, so you get a little puff of smoke when you first start it up. Same with turbo seals will do the same thing and fill your intercooler with oil. But those are pretty much the big things. It does have a limited life timing belt, so that's something you have to replace periodically. And then the intakes will clog up with carbon over time, so those need to be replaced or cleaned out. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, these engines are pretty bulletproof. The car around it, not so much. I don't think I've ever had a Mark IV where the actual car itself was fully working. No matter how many bushings I replaced in the suspension, they never seem to be right as far as that goes. And the trim pieces inside are kind of cheap plastic and always break. But other than that, I've never had one of these leave me stranded. It's just, yeah. But so the things that are done to mine, so nothing that you can really see here. Mine has a stock turbo and stock block and everything. Stock injector pump, but it does have bigger injector nozzles and has a Malone Stage 2 tune, so it's putting out some pretty good power. Actually, my injectors are way too big for the tune that I have. My car's pretty much set up to have a big turbo, which it doesn't, which I think over time I'm probably going to go down to smaller injectors just because I want this car for economy and I don't want to kill it. But it has a VR6 clutch. It has the bigger injectors, the Malone Stage 2 tune. So I'm not sure the exact horsepower figures, but I think it's 200, right around 200. And torque, I'm not sure where it is, but it's plenty. This car is faster than my 328 DS sold, and probably faster than the other 3 cars I have currently. But yeah, it has the Malone Stage 2 tune, has a 3-inch turbo back exhaust. I have a big skid plate on here, and then other stuff that's done to the car has an Audi TT shifter, has Audi TT bushings inside. And the list goes on and on. There's a lot of stuff done underneath the car, even though cosmetically it's completely stock. But yeah, that's introduction to the car. Now I guess I'll take it for a drive and I guess talk about why I like the driving dynamics of the Mark IV TDI so much. Alright, so let's go for a drive now so I can talk about the driving dynamics and what I really like about these cars. So as I was saying before, I just love how like small and nimble these cars are. And I don't know, they give you like a lot of character. Like compared to modern cars, they're so simple. It's just like the bare essentials of what you need. I mean, for 2002, like having heated seats in an economy car and kind of decent radio actually for the stock one, and whatever, 18 years old. The only thing you really know in here is kind of like I said before, the plastics are all really like hard touch and a lot of them break over time. And as I was saying before, I've never had one that's had the suspension completely sorted no matter what I did, replacing shocks, bushings, everything. This one definitely needs new shocks. But I don't know, I just love how torquey the engine is. I love that you can roll coal like big diesel truck. You can let people know when you're annoyed with them when you pass them and blow some smoke in their face. Which I think is due to the fact that this one has bigger injectors on. When I had stock ones, they didn't really smoke too much. So I think when I take this car in for its next timing belt, I'll probably have them put in the appropriate size injectors for the tune I have, because for me I just want economy. But speaking of economy, that's the thing that like I absolutely love about these and why I think they make an awesome daily driver commuter car is you can get upwards of, depending on how you have it tuned and how you drive and what you have in your car, you can get upwards of 55 miles to the gallon. My car actually has a taller fifth gear in it, which I'm not sure exactly the ratio, but you pretty much have to ring fourth out before you shift into fifth, but it gets pretty awesome fuel economy. Even with my giant oversized injectors and tune, I still get about 45 miles to the gallon on the highway, which will hopefully be even better once I replace that stuff out, or replace the injectors. But I don't know, the cars, they're just so simple. They're mechanical as far as wherever you point, whatever direction you point it to, they go. They give you good, decent road feel. The shifter's super light. The clutch is light, but gives you good feel. I don't know. They're just so easy to drive, and you can dart through traffic almost like a Mini Cooper type feel. That's kind of what I like about these. Usually I've had the Golf or the Jetta sedan, not the Wagon. I think the Wagon's a little bit longer because I had to extend the 3-inch turbo as a back exhaust a little bit to get it to come all the way out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're looking for a semi-fun to drive car that's simple, basic, will be very reliable, I don't think you can look any further than one of these. I say reliable, and I do mean that. The engine is reliable. The platform itself, it has its quirks, which are well documented. Like the doors break after however many miles. Like none of the door latches work properly on this one. You have to push them in before you open it. The window regulators break all the time. The window switches, everything that's plastic degrades over time. But the actual engine and drivetrain or whatever is pretty bulletproof. I don't think one of these would ever leave you stranded. So I guess that's my 2 cents on the Mark IV Jetta TDI. I absolutely love these cars. I've had 3 of them. I just keep coming back to them, and this one, honestly, I don't think I'll ever sell. I say that, and I always do, but I'm kind of at the point where these cars are being few and far between to find a well-sorted one, and this one still needs a little bit of work. The headliner's sagging and definitely needs some suspension work, which, as I said, these always do. But yeah, I think even if my engine blew up tomorrow, I would buy an ALH crate engine and just swap in a brand new one. You can actually get brand new ALH engines for like $3,000, which I think is, I don't know, if I was looking for a new commuter car, I might even just pick up one of these and put, even with like a blown engine or something, and put that in, because there's really no modern equivalent anymore. Diesels are pretty much dead in the United States. Diesel wagons with manual transmissions are definitely dead. So I don't know what you could get to replace something like this in today's day and age. But alright, I'll stop rambling now. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more content on my Mark IV ALH TDI, then be sure to subscribe to the channel as well as my other vehicles I have. Alright, thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.